the phone up here.
Once in a while, not too often.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, no.
All right, we got Seymour Mark's up there. Randy's over there. Perfect. Yeah, wherever, as long as the mic works. Sorry. Thank you. That would have been very It's okay. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I know we're the last panel between you guys and lunch, so. I'm Faith Sanchez of ECA, and I'll let my panelists introduce themselves, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cece Horvat from the Office of Community Engagement at the Department of Energy. Are we doing more or just going up?
If you go ahead.
Is this on? There we go. I'm Randy Heeman, City Manager from Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Mark Nutt. I'm the Nuclear Energy R&D Program Manager from Pacific Northwest National Laboratory.
Oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah. My name is Gerben Dijksthuis and I'm Mayor of Borsel in the Netherlands, and I'm President of the GMF Europe.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So we have representation here from abroad, our communities, the lab, and DOE. Cece, this first question is for you, actually. Could you tell us a little bit more about the new Office of Community Engagement, what you guys plan on doing, what resources you might have for the communities, and, just anything we might want?
Sure. Well, we have a lot. Our office is probably 8 months-ish old, but the whole point of our office is to connect you all with DOE. So today you've been connected with many offices at DOE, including the Office of Nuclear Energy, but DOE has so much more to offer in terms of funding opportunities, offices, and grants, and so I'm here to help navigate a lot of the bill and IRA funding opportunities.
And so, sorry, quick question follow-up. Will you guys be working then across program offices? Is there an easy way, or any questions to just go straight to you guys?
Yeah, so we are taking a regional approach. My jurisdictions are the western states and the territories, and then there's about 4 or 5 other of me's out there who are focused on various regional areas, so they can give you that specific information about what's going on in your communities or other funding opportunities that are out there. I also work with specific offices at DOE along with my colleagues, so we know a little bit of information enough to be dangerous and inform you all on where to go.
Perfect, great, thank you. Mark, this next one's for you. Thank you guys truly for all the help P&L has given us to support the forum, tomorrow the tours. We're really thankful for everything you guys have done. Could you speak a little bit more about opportunities that exist for host communities to engage with the labs besides a meeting like this? Do you guys have resources, webinars? What are the best way for them to get in touch with y'all?
Well, first, recognize kind of who we are and what the labs do, and a lot of the technologies that are getting deployed today kind of had their roots in the national lab. EBR2, the gas reactor programs. So we're seeing a transition from kind of R&D out to industry, and industry picking up and running with it, and it's kind of what we're supposed to do at the national labs on all the technology fronts. But we can provide assistance. Yes, in our case, the program I run, I'm a nuclear advocate. The people I work with at the lab are nuclear advocates, but we're independent. We don't have biases for one for another. So I think what I'd advise is, on the nuclear side, reach out to the GAIN program first. Christine King and the GAIN team I know well, and they're a great resource. I think their backsides are starting to look like airplane seats, and they're going through many pairs of shoes running around the country. But they're a fantastic resource. I think people can also reach out to the individual labs. Us at PNNL, Idaho National Lab, Argonne National Lab, Oak Ridge National Lab, that all have tremendous nuclear experience. We can provide, I'd say, some support. But I'd say it, without funding, so it's good to hear Cece up here. I'm looking forward to hearing more on her program of, we're kind of limited to what we can do. We can't do analyses, we can't do calculations, we can't do economic studies unless there's a mechanism by which for us to get funded, and that's just per our contract with DOE. There are TA opportunities out there. Maybe conversations can be had with ECA, with your Office of Community Engagement, and try to figure out if there's more ways to set up stuff for nuclear energy that could potentially involve us.
Thank you so much. And for Randy and Gerben, as communities, what are resources that you guys need? And Gerben, you guys are a little further ahead of us, so what were resources that people asked for? And Randy, I know that Oak Ridge obviously has history of nuclear, so maybe there's already some background, but what resources do you guys think that these guys can provide, or that we should all be thinking of providing for you all? Whoever wants to take it, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and say, the biggest resource for us is communication. To be able to know exactly what the labs are working on. We meet regularly with all of our folks. Having a couple of different entities. We've got the NNSA in town and the lab, so regular meetings at least monthly where we know what's going on at the lab and can support those missions is really what we need, and just to know what's going on at the lab. What would be some of the spin-off businesses that we should consider based on what the lab's working on at the time. Communication is really the biggest tool for us.
Yeah, I think it's the same in our case. We talked about it all morning. It's about building trust, and trust you can build trust by open communication, by being transparent, and don't overload the people with all kind of technical details and so on. Make it understandable. Building trust, I think there's a big role also for local leaders, because in the panel here they said that in the Netherlands or in Europe the trust of government is a little bit higher than here. I don't think so. In my country, in the Netherlands, the people don't automatically trust the central government, but it's a different case locally. So I think just also mayors should take a big role in that building that trust. They are the man or woman that the people see as their advocate, and that's why they have a big role in this, by building this trust and communicating in a good way to the people.
Yeah, trust is definitely key, and we talked about that in that last session. Randy, along with trust, as a local government, how do you guys work to ensure that your community vision and as your representatives are taken into account, whether it's with the lab at Oak Ridge, whether it's with DOE, what is the role you guys play there?
It's a little easier, I think, in a legacy community. People understand that we have a nuclear heritage, but they also understand that we have a nuclear future. And in all of our community vision, we always talk about technology, we talk about innovation, we talk about science. Our city council does a really good job, I think, of keeping that at the forefront. We are just very intentional about speaking about the nuclear industry. And it's funny, it shows up in just about everything we do. We had a new event this last New Year's where we did a large New Year's celebration, and obviously we dropped an atom. We had a nice lit up atom, so it's pervasive in everything that we do, quite frankly, as is our vision process. There again, the communication with the labs. It was interesting that our Oak Ridge lab director was shocked when I met with him for the first time and talked about, well, what do you need to be successful? What do you want to see develop around you that enhances your mission? So we try to keep that at the forefront.
Yeah, Cece, I know that you said office is fairly new, but from so far, what have you guys heard communities are, asking from you guys? What are things that they're asking to have that connection and, to ensure that their opinions and voices are heard?
So all of our offices at DOE have some form of community engagement, and they have community engagement specialists like Natalia and all over who are curious to learn more about how to get involved, whether that's a community side, developer side, or state side. So they have their own offices to help out with that, but the way that we have things that we've been hearing when we're out in the community is about community benefits plans. So when these projects do come into communities want to know how is this going to impact me, where do I get involved? And so there are ways for communities to get involved as early as when the grants are coming out and the funding opportunities are coming out. Would we like to increase that? Absolutely, but people are wondering about these community benefits plans and how they can be a part of it and how they can be engaged early and often, like has been mentioned before.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now a question for you all. From your guys' experience, your respective positions, what does the community need to know when they are trying to pursue an advanced nuclear project? What advice would you give, lessons learned? What should they think to advocate for? What should they start preemptively doing before it starts?
Take a run at it first. I guess so. My advice would be learn everything about deploying nuclear in your community. It's a 60-plus year commitment to what's going to be in your community. So understand the role it'll play, understand the role you'll play, what would be the benefits for you over the long term, so that ultimately an informed decision's made. I'd also say even think more than reactors. The conversation here, we've heard of fuel cycle companies, we heard from deep isolation with the borehole, but understand that nuclear is an ecosystem. It's not just the reactors, it's the supply chain, it's storage facilities, it's disposal facilities. So think about that and how those types of, ecosystem type endeavors could come to play and be of positive benefit to your communities.
Anyone else want to add?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I would say that I agree with that very much. I think the people need to know also the potential risk, but also the benefits of it. In our project, those 100 people really dive into that, visited Hinkley in the UK to get a better understanding of the impact of building a power plant in your region. In my country, there are a lot of people and less land, so it's all very high density of people. So every piece of land is very, it has an impact on people who live there. They saw Hinkley and get a better understanding, it's normal that they are a little bit afraid about the impact of a nuclear project. They see all people who are against nuclear are talking a lot about it, saying cool towers as high as the Mont Blanc and all that kind of things are in the press, of course, and that creates a little bit of scareness with the people. So good communication is there also very important. Those 100 people say, okay, when you're going to build here, and 10,000 people in Hinkley, there are 10,000 people on the site working, are coming here, and we need to accommodate them. We also see a kind of risk about transportation, about dust, noise, that kind of things, which is perfectly normal. But the power of that project, I think, is that they also see a lot of opportunities. They say, okay, we need housing. Those people have to have a good place. We need local businesses also to interact with the builder, so they can make money of it too. And they say, we as a community, we have a certain living quality, but we want to improve that in the future by building the nuclear project. So the project has to contribute to our municipality so we can build our living quality. So they see, they have concerns, but they also see chances. Opportunities, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, and so when you guys or you're talking about, communication, media, what did that look like? Was that a lot of town halls? Is that publications? Is that in the form of, webinars, meetings like this? What do you think worked best? And I mean, everyone else feel free to chime in of what you think, we could continue to do to continue to progress these conversations and ensure, we're all on the same page.
We used as many communication options as we can. We also built an app. People can download it. Everything that's going on is in that app from the community, not from the builder or from our government. I think it's very important that you do it. And of course, the newsletters online, everything is there. There's another part, if I may, on that, which is the funding of it. We spoke about it this morning also. Local communities need money to do this good. If you have to pay it yourself, you have to get it out of your budget. You can do. Then it's always a discussion. How much are we going to do it? Because we need also money for the roads or for something else. I think it's a role of, in our case, the central government, to finance the local communities to do this good, because the building of the trust starts here, and that's the most important thing.
Thank you, and please feel free to also ask questions. I already see Kara, so go ahead.
So obviously, working with small communities, they don't really have budgets to do a lot of the responding to RFIs or grant applications. What kind of resources exist to help offset that aspect of, yes, I'd like to have some funding for that, but I have nobody to write the grant?
I got a bunch of notes on this. All right. So one of the offices that we support the most is the State and Community Energy Programs Office, and those are funding opportunities for smaller municipalities and states. First off that they like to tell you is get a good relationship with your state energy office. There's a lot of funding opportunities there for not only nuclear projects, but other projects as well. They will be very happy that I'm going to plug the program that's called CSITE, C-S-I-T-E. It's a program that is out now, and it closes the 31st of this month. And there is a webinar. Today is the 9th, so it's happening now, but it is recorded, so I'm glad that you showed up for this and not that webinar. But the webinar has opportunities to go through this program where it's implementing clean energy projects and programs that provide direct community benefits, investments for community-identified programs serving small to medium jurisdictions. So there are programs and projects out there that one of the things that I can do is help connect you to find those, where to go, what's available. I got a list of tax credits, can tell you about those too. But Kara, to directly answer your question, one of the things that were set up of an interagency working group for coal and former coal power plant communities. So there's an interagency working group that is addressing a lot of those questions on where to go and having lots of interagency working. Okay. Moving on. The other thing that I wanted to share is the Thriving Communities Network, which is very helpful for communities because they need help writing a grant, they don't know where to go, they have these energy ideas, and they need assistance. And the Thriving Communities Network is sponsored by EPA, but also has various DOE, DOT, lots of other HUD, other agencies that are working together to support them. So those are also regionally based. So those are two big resources for communities, the Thriving Communities Network, and then the IWG coal, the name is escaping me. Coal and Power Plant Communities Economic Revitalization, that's the full name. And I will say, I'll also plug, Natalia will be appreciative, this is on Gaines' table in the next room, and there are resources in here about tax credits, definitions of energy communities, definitions of disadvantaged communities, what those mean, where those maps are, where those tools are, and how you all can engage with them, whether you're at the city or local level, or you're developers and you want to start knowing who's out there and who qualifies for what. So I could go into it more and more, but I don't want to take up too much time. But there are some of the resources that I was thinking of that are in here as well. And then I will stop to give other people opportunities, unless you want me to keep going later.
Thank you, that was great.
I'd be happy to jump in on that one. We have responded recently to a number of RFIs, and we've taken a real team approach. Our State Economic Development Office, the Governor's Nuclear Task Force have been really keys to assist us. But on the local level, we've used everybody from our Chamber of Commerce to our Industrial Development Board to ETEC, which was here yesterday. The East Tennessee Economic Council has taken a really good role in that. And it's been an interesting process because you go through an RFI and you're asked a lot of questions, and we've reached the point of thinking we've really got to be prepared for this more the next time it comes. We've got to know, and we know now, that there are 2,800 people that graduate with degrees that are within industries that are related to this, that there are 58 people every year that have a degree in nuclear, either a master's or bachelor's degree in East Tennessee. You've got to know those things and be prepared for it. And it's been a really interesting exercise for us. It's helped us understand that we've got to pull together as a team to respond to these. Otherwise, we will fall short when we respond.
Thank you, really appreciate that. Kind of change topics just a little bit. So you guys briefly talked about the labs and DOE working together. A big question is, if a community or state or a tribe is looking for technical assistance, they're looking to kind of understand more of that, what is the best way to go about that? Does it depend on the topic, or should they go to the lab? Should they go to DOE? What is the best way to do that?
From the DOE perspective, you can go to me or your regional representatives. There are technical assistance programs that are specifically working with communities to help them implement their energy projects that are not necessarily nuclear. So all the information I'm giving you is really at the 10,000-foot level, but we absolutely have technical assistance programs. And with the Seaside program that I had mentioned, that does have technical assistance, and sometimes they will partner you with organizations to help with that, and that technical assistance could be installation, grant writing, how to write a plan, how to do a lot of different things. So it really varies, and there are plenty of databases and resources on DOE's website, but they are very difficult to navigate as someone who does it as a full-time job. So we understand that that can be complicated, and that's why we're here to help.
Yeah. Excuse me. I think, from the lab's point of view, we will get people reaching into us just because they know us. They know we're around. They know who we are. So, I'd say it's almost incumbent upon us to learn more about what your program is so we know where to direct them and how to direct them for those resources.
Yeah, and to that same point too, I know you mentioned that this has some information on project developers and what they're looking for, and but it's, do the labs and DOE, do you guys also have a role in connecting communities with, people like developers that are looking, meetings like this obviously help, but what is your guys' role in that?
Yeah, I think we can, we know the players, so, if a community comes forward and can somehow describe what they're looking for, we can kind of point them in the directions. Well, maybe you want to talk to these three or those four, or talk, and then again go back and talk for the opportunities for assistance. So, I think we can play that kind of matchmaker role to some extent.
Yeah, I like to call myself unofficially a DOE matchmaker to match people of where they want to go, who they need to talk to, because it is hard navigating the alphabet soup of DOE and federal agencies, and that is the whole purpose of our office. The Secretary wants us to deploy, but if you don't know where to go, you have no idea where to start deploying. So we're here to help you start deploying and find out who to be connected with. And the fact that you have connections with the labs, that's great. The labs are part of the Office of Science. The Office of Science is part of, the DOE as a federal agency. So there's a lot of avenues and places to go, especially because within DOE, their individual offices also have technical assistance programs, as well as tax credits and other things.
I think it's a great thing that the government provide these kind of technical assistance. I think that's very good. In our case, the government take the initiative to build power plants, and what I see in my community is that people say, yeah, they are also taking the initiative and they need to provide information. We we like more independent information. So we hired some experts to help them with the information, the technical information. And here also the trust issue is playing a role. Not that they not trust them, but the independence of the community, that's a big thing also here. So that's why they hired technical experts.
Thank you guys, I really appreciate that. We have like 2 minutes left. Is there any question from the audience that isn't Kara Cullen? Go ahead.
So this is a question mainly for Mark and for Randy. Can you talk about opportunities for tech transfer? Where has it happened, and how can we look to that for future opportunities for communities that already have existing relationships with DOE?
Trying to think of how to answer it. Yeah, we like to do tech transfer. I mean, oh, sorry. Can you hear me? I mean, part of what we do as a national lab is tech transfer, and we all have tech transfer offices. So we work with companies, get on board, and try to do tech transfer on a lot of stuff. So how a community would get involved in that, I don't know. Anybody else got thoughts? Maybe you do, because you've done it.
Well, yeah, it's interesting you asked that. We had a business. Oak Ridge National Lab brings in cohorts of folks to help develop private businesses, and one of the things that we've done is actually, once they've been birthed out of Oak Ridge National Lab, is work with businesses to provide test beds for them. We've got somebody right now that works in thermal energy that wants to test a product, and we're actually going to allow them to test that product in one of our city-owned facilities. So that's the little bit of tech transfer that we've been involved in, and we probably, to be honest, haven't done as good a job as we could keeping up with the businesses that are there and making sure that we have facilities once they come out of the lab to grow in our community. They've grown in other areas of the region, but we've got to do a better job of understanding what their needs are. And there's a lot of space needs, and it was a good experience for me to work with this business to understand what their challenges were once they came out of the lab. And one of those big challenges is flexible space that we lack in the community right now.
I mean, one thing more to add is, we're all about R&D, and we're all about publishing. So that data and that published information gets out there that others can then pick up and run with. So, yeah, we have the working with somebody closely to do the tech transfer. We'll develop technologies and license them out, but we, like I said at the beginning, my first question, the R&D that's been done at the labs is, I think, the foundation for why we're here.
So, hi, I'm Diane Howard, Porta Benton. I just want to share with the group a little bit that we have supported and worked with PNNL on tech transfer and providing property. We have an innovation partnership zone. We provided test beds similar to Oak Ridge, locations where the Richland utility would agree to plug in things next to the substation, or we also have applied process engineering laboratory where everything's kind of pre-permitted and they can go in there. Another example of us doing tech transfer in collaboration with the lab and with our university is taking patents and pieces and actually doing startup weekends with companies specifically around ag or specifically around energy. And this was a way for us to kind of get small businesses started within our region. And I'd say the coolest one, it's not energy related, but yet it is Solar Spirits, which is a distillery that we have up in North Richland. So just a little bit of some examples of other ways that we kind of reach out to stretch out to do tech transfer and also to help our local small businesses and medium-sized business grow. Thanks.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. Well, with that, please join me in thanking our panel. And then lunch is being served in the room next door. You guys are free to go. Thank you.